I'm hitting the trail. It's time to do some talking. I'm gonna find me a honky-tonk hero with a story to tell. We'll have a chuckle. You never know, you might learn something. I'm hitting the trail. It's time to do some talking. I'm hitting the trail. It's time to do some talking.
You're listening to Tales from the Trail, brought to you by Cowboys and Indians Magazine. Now here's your host, Tyler Gummersall.
Welcome to the episode. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really enthused about this one. I got to sit down with Randy Rogers from the Randy Rogers Band. If you don't know about Randy Rogers Band, man, they've been doing it for over 18 years down in Texas and all over the country, selling out big places and recording albums. They have over 8 studio albums that have been really successful, and their most recent one, Hellbent, was produced by Dave Cobb, and Dave is also responsible for producing some Sturgill Simpson records and Jason Isbell, so you know that's some good stuff. But it was really neat. I got to sit down with Randy at the Cheatham Street Warehouse in San Marcos, Texas, which is a very cool historic venue that Randy has recently purchased. He kind of took over the torch from Kent Finlay. It's a spot where George Strait got his start, and it's pretty cool that Randy's keeping it alive. So we talked about the band, talked about songwriting, and also some of Randy's side projects. He has some cool collaborations. One thing is called the Stryker Brothers, and that's with Robert Earl Keen, which is really neat. Man, it's a great record that they have out called Burn Band. And then also he does a project with Wade Bowen, and it's called Hold My Beer. That record is also awesome. So I put a little clip of a song that Wade and Randy did, and then I also did a new song of Randy Rogers' band called Hellbent on a Heartache, and we're kind of talking about that song, so I popped those clips in. And also stay tuned. I think we're going to have a exclusive video of Randy and Randy Rogers' band fiddle player Brady Black on a song called Never Made It to Mexico, so be sure and search that after this episode. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned to the end. I'll have some more information on the band and Randy and some other stuff, so hope you enjoy it. Well, I think a good place to start would be to start with Here.
Okay.
I mean, first live album for Randy Rogers Band. You guys recorded here?
Yeah, 2000. We recorded live here. Crazy night. I mean, it was like we had no clue what we were doing.
Yeah.
You know, we had only been a band for like less than a year.
Wow.
So it wasn't perfect. The album is not tuned up or anything. It's like it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it got us, on the map. And I was able to send that out to other clubs and say, look, I play at Cheatham Street, and here's what we sound like, and please book us,
Right, like as an example, kind of like
it was a tool more than anything. So real proud of that, and now here we are on the same stage.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Are there any bootlegs left? Or no? You burn all the tapes.
We Doesn't bother me more than it bothers you.
I hear you.
We reprinted live at Cheatham Street and did this thing called Last Call. So there's like another run of them.
Yeah.
And then done.
Collectors, so Uber collector's item.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I don't really want a whole lot of people hearing that record. I was a baby.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And that's, coming up on 19 years then.
Yeah, so we've been a band 19 years. My first gig was here October 3rd of 2000.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And same lineup of guys?
No, the original lineup did change, but the same guys that are with me now have been with me for 17 of those years.
So that's pretty dang cool. I mean, it's hard enough to keep a band together for a couple months, I mean,
we're definitely an anomaly. I mean, I think especially even in our scene, we're the longest, standing band of, group of guys.
And it's not just pickup players. I mean, it's like that's a whole part of the sound, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I had drew a line in the sand and said, quit your other bands and join this band, and we got an 88 Suburban.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And that's the cover of the new album. That's
Yes,
Suburban,
Peaches.
basically. Peaches.
Yeah.
Nice. And then you guys just hit it hard in Texas, basically?
We did. We started playing in Fort Worth. We started playing in Houston. Started
Yeah.
playing college towns, College Station quite often, Huntsville, and just started building it, you know.
Which is a unique thing that you can do in Texas, really. I mean, touring-wise, right? Like, there's enough people where you can sustain a fan base.
Yeah, you know, and at that time there were certain bands like Robert Earl Keen and, you know, later on, Pat and Ragweed and some other bands that really brought us up. You know, they took us from, you know, playing here for 100 people to opening for them in College Station for 1,500 people. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
that is awesome.
I know. At least he's in time. I like it. Yeah, folks, we're here in the heart of San Marcos, Texas, where urban development is going strong.
Urban development and just insanity of the influx of people in this town.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Texas in general too. It seems like. I mean, I don't think I've seen anywhere with more construction. Maybe Nashville. I mean, there's a lot going on there too. But and how long have you owned this place? Because this is
So 3 years.
Okay.
Going on 3 years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ever my goal to own this place. It
No.
was something that happened and something that needed to happen.
Yeah.
And you know, it's weird for me because I do feel like my partner and I like literally saved this place from being part of what's going on next
Around
door.
it, yeah.
And but you know, I get some flack for not running it like Kent ran it, and
Yeah.
the truth is I'm not Kent, you know, and I don't have the same ideology that he did when it comes to it, and my whole goal is to keep the doors open, the beer cold, the music booked, and that's it, you know. I'm not really an active player of everything.
Yeah.
I just make the right decisions and make sure that, you know, my partner and I go about it so that this place doesn't ever close down. And the city, you know, I've dealt and been in several meetings with the city, and the city is very supportive of live music, very supportive of this institution. And, you know, as long as we have their support, I feel very confident that Cheatham Street won't, you know, go away and won't change.
And as it should be. I mean, I think that it's super important to save these these gems, because that's what makes this area amazing, and that's why they're building all this stuff around it. You know what I mean?
You know,
and if it goes away,
I feel like Austin, in a way, kind of maybe messed up a few of those kind of places, those things that made Austin hip and cool.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm obviously a purveyor of the dance halls.
Yeah.
And you know, live music venues in general. And so I think it's important, you know, that we keep those things, and we have places that kids can come write their songs and, you know, get on stage Wednesday nights. Still have open mic night, which is where I started.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you never know. I always tell people, I can't wait for the next 17-year-old kid to walk in here with a guitar and blow everybody away.
Yeah, that's very cool. And in that spirit of kind of like preserving but also helping out another generation, you do have a management company as well, right, that you're a part of?
Yeah, so about 3 or 4 years ago, at the same time period this all happened, my day-to-day manager, Robin Chef, and I decided to open a management company called Big Blind Management. Okay. And basically I did that because I was meeting young artists who didn't really know what the next step was. They're good, you know, they had a band, but what's next, you know? And so a lot of that revolved around like the publishing side of the industry, and
which can be very confusing.
Very confusing, and you know, managers unfortunately sometimes rip kids off and promise things that can't really happen, and set things up in a way that it benefits, you know, the manager and not the artist. And so you know, we just felt like there was a great opportunity for us to do some good and spread some good, and we started managing Red Shahan, we started managing Parker McCollum, and then Robin also managed some like different projects for artists that wanted to put out a record, but didn't want to have a management company for a year, but maybe 6 months. And so you know, just kind of just different things. We offered different things to lots of people, and
it's cool.
You know, it really did quite well for Parker McCollum.
Yeah, he's doing great.
You know,
that's awesome.
And so it's like I'm just looking for those next up and coming acts, you know, that blow me away when I see them open for me. You know, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Which is
now,
cool.
what are you doing? You know, that's what my first question is. You know, Chris Colson, we just signed him. He's a young, great singer.
That's awesome.
And another kid named William Beckman that we just signed. Cool. So, it's like, I know I can take them from this point to this point. Yeah. And then after that, if they want to spread their wings and fly, I did my job.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's pretty altruistic and important, because there are so many, in any business, I suppose, but especially in the music business or the arts, I mean, the amount of sharks are pretty heavy. So to have somebody who's been through it like you,
right,
and to kind of guide, that's important.
Yeah, I've been through, 3 or 4 different publishing deals, a major record deal.
Right.
We made 4 albums on Universal. So,
okay.
I've been through the process. I've seen lots of people come and go, and what not to do.
Yeah.
More than anything, I think that's the key, right? Teach
what not to do,
the young kids what not to do.
I think that's great advice. Daryl Scott gave me that advice. He said, man, there's no one way to do it. There's nothing like that, but just know what you don't want to do and leave yourself open to the rest. And I think that's a similar thing. Know how not to get screwed over, and then just do your work.
And now we get a train.
Yeah, I love it.
So that's good luck. So if you're up here on Wednesday night singing your new song and the train comes by, it's
a hit.
Good luck. It's a hit.
I love it.
Well, he just smiled. He rolled his eyes. He said, how can I make you see? We just need one big hit, and the rest will be history. If we could find a way to compromise, you could be the next big star. I said, man, you might be right, but I don't care if you are. I don't have hits. I've got standards. Tell me, how can I sell out? Well, if I barely sell it all, you won't see my name on the billboard. Every night I pack the dance floor. There's your answer. I don't have hits. I've got standards.
That's awesome, man. And kind of circling back to what you're talking about in terms of longevity and being able to stick around, you guys certainly have as a band. I mean, I think I looked at your Spotify this morning, and it's like 500,000 monthly listeners, 500,000 people. That's pretty dang good. It's pretty cool in this day and age, and to kind of be through maybe one of the biggest, most tumultuous times in the music industry too, like from when you guys started till now.
Everything changed. I mean, it's funny with that new record we just put out last month. It's like all you look at now is your streaming numbers, right? So, and that is just completely opposite of what it was, when I signed my first record deal, even,
Yeah, they're looking at what, CD sales or what?
Yeah, you're looking at sales, and it's such a single-driven thing now too. The industry is, and so it's interesting that we've, I hate saying the word remain relevant, because it's like I'm only 40. It's like I'm not old. Right. It's just we've been doing it almost 20 years.
Sure.
Is the thing, and the evolution of the industry and then the constant changes, even on social media, how fast things, change.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's paying attention to Twitter. No, they're not anymore. They're all paying attention to, this or that or whatever, and it's just a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
We have to employ young, smart people.
Well, that's smart right there. Surrounding yourself with good people, right? I mean, that's probably one of the biggest successful things.
Yeah.
Or what do you think are the keys to that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had the same bus driver for 13 years. I mean, I think that's making really good decisions early on really helped this band. Had great managers. Enzo DiVincenzo's been my manager, along with Robin for the whole time. And, well, not the whole time, but for the better part of 17 years. Sure. And so, it's like I got lucky, and I hate that that's the truth, because I'd like to say it's because I'm some super talented, amazing singer-songwriter artist. But it's not. I mean, the guys in the band, we were all the same age. We had everything to lose. We had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Right? All at the same time. Everything to gain. And, the managers were really smart. They also wanted to better themselves and further their careers in Nashville and beyond. And, so it was just the right timing, I think, more than it was just the perfect song or the perfect sound or the perfect look or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you were good too, though. There are great songs, and it's a great band. I mean,
yes.
You're very humble,
and that's another thing.
That's cool. But
that's another thing I do say to these youngsters is like, it's pretty song driven. Like,
yeah.
you need good songs,
Yeah.
and not maybe good songs. You need
great songs.
Great songs, and so. I was lucky enough to meet Sean McConnell and write with him, who is just the most phenomenally talented guy.
Yeah.
Had really great co-writers. I was very dedicated to songwriting early on in my
to
career.
the craft. Yeah.
Right. So I was here every Wednesday playing whatever song I wrote that week. You know, I was constantly trying to create and be conscious of that during the day. Like if I heard something or I saw something or made me think, I jot it down. And then next time I opened up my notebook, I would have 50 ideas to write a song about, And so I just had some, if you want to call it work ethic,
Sure.
that was embedded in me by Kent Finley here at Cheatham Street Warehouse to focus on those songs. And then, Radney Foster comes. I open a show for him. I stalk him for a few months.
Yeah.
And then that's when I really learned what a song
talk about a writer
meant, to a career, to him, to his life and his career, going to his house. And, I slept in his basement every trip I ever made to Nashville for like 5 years maybe. And, just to see like on his walls, how the Hootie and the Blowfish had cut his songs and, Keith Urban, obviously, Raining on Sunday, and just all these huge songs that really changed his life for his children, for his family. Because his kids were really young then. And I just watched how the success of those songs really did provide for his life and for his kids. And so,
it's incredible.
When you think about it that way, you get real serious about, songwriting
well.
and making yourself sit down every week and try to come up with something brand new. And I feel like that's one thing I did early on that did help, progress the band.
I totally agree. I think the songcraft is a huge part of it. But also, in listening to all the records, it's like you weren't chasing anything, though, either. I mean, if you're a writer and that's your only job, like in Nashville, nowadays, I mean, really, you have to write for radio, essentially. That's how you can make a living. But, there's a difference between really well-crafted songs that aren't chasing stuff and just well-crafted songs, I think. I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever sat down and said, I'm going to write this song to sound like, something on the radio.
Yeah,
and maybe that hurt me. Maybe that's why we've only had, a few songs break the top 40 or whatever, top 50.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think, like, if I would have chased, when I was at Universal, if I would have chased, radio at that time, it would have hurt our band. I mean, it would have hurt the longevity of our band. It may still, at this point in time, still have been helping, but, there weren't any people that just said, oh, these guys took the golden ticket and sold out.
Right.
No one said that about us.
Yeah.
Our fan base, like, wanted us to succeed. They wanted us to have national radio airplay. They wanted us to get in front of open shows for George Strait and be on tour with Miranda Lambert. It was a very, and still is, like, the greatest, smartest group of fans I think any artist out there possibly has, because they can tell the difference between fluff and real, and I can't fake it, and they wouldn't let me fake it.
They hold you accountable, which is cool. Yeah.
Right, and I had to get up there every night, and still do, and, sell it.
Yeah.
And if I'm up there doing something that's not me, which, could be shaking my butt or running around the stage like an idiot.
Right.
It just wouldn't fit, and they would see it. And so I just think that, fans are smarter than, they give them credit for.
I totally agree with that. And that's pretty dang cool and inspiring for younger guys to see that, because, especially like for me, it's like, you got to be yourself. And if you're true to that, then it seems like you just find the people that agree with it or fit with, right?
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Yeah, that's cool. What you're talking about reminds me of, I really love the record you and Wade did, and like the standard song.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't have hits, I have standards. I like it. It kind of wraps up that whole.
Yeah, Bron Keane and I wrote that with Brady Black, our fiddle player.
Neat.
And, it's such a poke at both Wade and I, because we, like, I had like a song go 37 and he had one go 38 or something, and that's been the biggest success we've had at country radio. We don't have hits, we have standards.
Right.
and then the play on the word standards as being like a a traditionally based song that never goes away, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so and that record too came out like right there at the end of the tenure and Universal with MCA and Mercury Records, and so it was kind of fun for me to. It wasn't hateful at all.
No, it's really fun. Yeah,
it's fun for me to kind of poke fun at them as well as me.
Yeah.
And like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, exactly.
So Hold My Beer Volume 1 did great, and we got Hold My Beer Volume 2 already recorded.
Really?
It's done.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
It's great. It's funny. It's like we
awesome.
we had 3 or 4 years in between records, so we got to kind of hone the craft of like what those songs need to be like. So like every song on the record has one of those moments where you're just kind of like
right.
Yeah. And it's also hard to write male duet songs. I mean,
that's true. That's really hard. Yeah.
There's only like a few things you can sing about and write about, and because it's got to be kind of back and forth and funny and witty and kind of competitive. At the same time too, like kind of macho, and they're not the easiest songs to write.
I don't really think about that, but it's totally true. Yeah, it's a really interesting twist.
You have to put your mind
thing.
down to like, we're going to write towards this male duet.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's
that's pretty.
Doesn't come as easy as like, my heart is devastated, broken. She destroyed it, and I'm gonna drink a million beers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a little easier take. I really do love those collaborations. The Stryker Brothers record is one of my favorite too. And then, so did Lloyd produce both of those, Lloyd Maines?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I could hear his steel.
Yeah, and Lloyd, we've been talking to Lloyd this week just about this record, wrapping it up and everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny. He's like, maybe I should start taking this producing records seriously. Because, man, if he talk about one of the most underrated producers in the genre.
Yeah.
All of country music all throughout the world. I mean,
period.
He's done some of the biggest records ever.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, I think that having him on board, and right now, too, I don't know if he's feeling it or whatever, but he's, like, in a really great place right now.
That's awesome.
Because that Stryker Brothers record sounded gorgeous.
It was amazing.
And,
no, seriously.
And the same way on this Hold My Beer Volume 2 thing, it is like, we're blown away by it. In fact, we're trying now to figure out where we're going to put the record, like, on a label, because... we need to maybe do something more than what we can do independently.
Right.
So, like, then, and the term is shopping the record. So, we're having now to go like kind of think about what's next.
Just because it's so good.
Right.
Yeah.
And Hold My Beer also too, like Wade and I hired an attorney, and we went and got the marks. So we have the trademarks for Hold My Beer and Hold My Beer Volume 1, Hold My Beer Volume 2, Hold My Beer and Watch This.
Oh man.
And the right to do business as Hold My Beer.
That's pretty dang big.
Right. We couldn't believe it. I mean, there was like...
yeah, that's not taking
because it's a pretty widely used, slogan.
Yeah.
But no one had ever marked it. And so now we have it. And so we're good to go. We're talking about launching a clothing line, talking about launching everything.
Awesome. I love it.
You can just change the words, too, like... Hold My Baby and Watch This, right? There was some girls that toured on that.
The possibilities are endless.
I mean, it's crazy. So, that's a lot to be excited about with that project.
That's really cool, man. Yeah, Lloyd's an awesome guy and so talented. In terms of the amount of instruments he plays, too, and how well he plays them, he produced a record of mine a couple of years ago, and that was like a big honor even just to work with him.
No ego.
No ego at all.
No ego, and just one of the best players around.
Yeah. Where'd you guys do the last record?
Cedar Creek.
Cedar Creek. Okay,
we did the Stryker Brothers record at the Zone.
Oh yeah, the Zone's cool. Yeah. That's really awesome. And then the new Randy Rogers Band record you got to do with Dave Cobb, right?
Dave Cobb, Nashville, Studio A, RCA.
The big time.
Crazy.
How cool is that?
And we went in twice. So we went in 1 year and went back about 8 months later. Went back in.
Wow.
So we got to do it twice, which is super cool. And I think it was smart on our part because we ended up cutting some songs out that we had cut and redoing some and then adding some. And so we got to really think about the album. And we did that on purpose because, 40 years old, not getting younger. We want to get this album right.
Right.
Make sure it's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's got songs on it that we can play live because, once again, these albums nowadays are just tools because the way that we make money, musicians, we have to tour. We have to go play shows.
Right.
And you know that. So we need songs. It goes back to songs. We need songs that we can play live so we can change our set so people don't feel like they're seeing the same old thing.
Right.
And, we need more songs that become parts of people's lives.
Yeah.
So they attach our music to their wedding or their quinceañera or, you know, their graduation or whatever. And so we did that with this album. I mean, we've been playing 6 of these songs live.
Really?
And we've never done that. We've always picked like 2 or 3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
We've just entered all these songs into the set list.
Yeah.
And, you know, so far so good. I mean, I watch people sing along.
Those are
every
great
night.
tunes, man. They're really awesome songs. And there's some a few not covers, but I mean the Guy Clark song that he did with Stapletons, right?
Yeah.
Hellbent on a Heartache. That's a
Yeah, that
cool
was my
song.
favorite song on Guy's record that he made, My Favorite Picture of You. I just gravitated towards it for some reason. Didn't know Chris and Morgan wrote it.
Yeah, who would have known?
And we get in the studio and Dave's like, man, I've heard this song before. I didn't even know. I thought Guy Clark wrote it, you know, and he did with them. But,
Sure.
And we get to thinking about it, and I actually Googled the lyrics
Yeah.
in the studio,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, wow, Chris wrote this. And Dave was like, I knew it. I knew I heard the song before.
That's awesome.
Because it was in a batch of songs that I think Chris brought in to cut.
Yeah.
And they just ended up not cutting it. Ain't love funny, ain't love strange. I say love is a dangerous game. Shows no mercy, has no rules. It's all the same for the kings and fools. And I'm hell-bent on a heartache. I should know better, but I guess I don't. I keep on learning the hard way. Every time I turn around, I make the same mistake. 'Cause I'm hell-bent on a heartache. Hell-bent on a heartache.
Man,
Thank you for not cutting it.
I know, right? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And the experience working with Dave, I don't know him personally or anything, but it sounds like he kind of he doesn't really have a sound to me. It seems like what he does is bring out the best in whoever's in the room that way. So did he pretty much like let you guys do your thing, or what was it like?
Yeah, so he's the closest to our age
Yeah.
that we've ever worked with as a producer.
Okay.
So we had a lot in common.
Sure.
We kind of grew up listening to the same music. He's been in as many bands as anybody I've ever met. You know,
Yeah.
he's been on the road. He's a road dog. He
Yeah.
knows LA. He knows Nashville. He knows New York. He knows, you know, he's got a great sensibility of the world about him. He's really laid back. Another really cool thing is he has so much gear. Like there's 20 drum kits laying around. And,
Wow.
you know, vintage amps and vintage guitars, and so it's just like, he has cool stuff. He's like really cool toys.
Yeah.
And it's true. There's not a whole lot of trickery to what he does.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty straightforward. You get up there and you give me a good performance.
Yeah.
You know, and that room brings that out of you. All those cool guitars brings that out of you, and just he has a really calm confidence about him. He's a really good decision maker, which is
Yeah.
interesting. So like, we'd sit down in these little couches in the studio because the studio is so huge. So you have like your own little living room, and you know, I play him the song that I wrote, and he go, okay, cool, we'll do this, chicka chicka chicka, and you know, Brady does this on the fiddle, Geoffrey plays this lick right here, comes up with the head lick, literally took 2 or 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and the next thing you know, we're cutting it. It's like the friend that decides where to go eat lunch. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, where do you want to go eat lunch? Sure. Where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go?
Right.
Where are we going? I don't know. You tell me. Where do you want to go? That's not Dave.
No.
Dave's like, I know where we're going. We're going right here.
Yeah.
You know, we're going right now.
And that's important too. Then you don't end up like, you know, kind of drifting or whatever. It seems like any decision is better than no decision at a certain point.
Yeah.
But
And it's interesting because his decisions were right. I mean, they're
Wow,
right on point.
Yeah.
You know, especially with head licks and like just music is not that complicated. You know, it doesn't have to be.
no.
So I think the simplicity of Dave Cobb also shines through in these records.
Yeah.
Especially if you listen to the Stapleton stuff.
Oh man.
It's
Yeah.
just, it's so gorgeous because Stapleton's so amazing.
Yeah.
At the same time, the way they recorded him, it's just music.
Yeah.
It's just really
It's like
great
you-
guitars and really great voice and really great drums. And,
Yeah.
you know, what more do you need?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could screw it up,
Yeah.
and he doesn't, you know.
Right.
Did you guys, was it digital or you recorded tape, or?
We did not record a tape on this record.
Still, yeah, Pro Tools. And then was it mostly live, like in one room kind of a deal, or?
Yeah, everybody in one room together.
Yeah.
The drum kit was, at a secluded room, but yeah, everybody just sitting there together, and then, if Geoffrey needed to overdub a guitar, he would just go sit in the control room and play guitar with Dave right there.
That's cool. That's a really cool way to do it. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So, you also went to school here, in San Marcos, and you got your degree in public relations, right?
01, graduated with a PR degree and a minor in business.
Yeah, which is pretty dang smart. I would say that's probably some of the best advice to an artist is to learn some business, right?
Yeah, business and the PR degree. I mean, I'm using it right now, right?
Yeah.
On my way here, I did 2 radio interviews.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I do it every week.
Yeah.
So, I had a great experience at college here. They just awarded me the Young Distinguished Alumni Award.
Oh, cool.
Last year, I had to give a speech and everything. It's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I can sing to you, but I can't give you no speech.
I understand that.
And also created an endowment here, Kent Finley Legacy Endowment.
Neat.
We just got that funded, fully funded actually, so we can start giving out scholarships to kids here that
really cool.
show interest in music.
That's awesome.
So we're going to hopefully change some lives, or help some lives.
Yeah.
In Kent's name and honoring him.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a big part, it seems like, of what you do is really sticking to the community that helped you, and you're giving back, right? I mean, that's important.
I mean, it comes full circle with this, venue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't ever want this place to go away, and I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
All the construction going on around us, and there are changes and things I want to do here, but nothing revolutionary. I mean,
Sure, you don't want to break a good thing.
No.
Yeah, it's a really unique space. And so looking forward, you have the volume 2 then with Wade coming up. What else is on the horizon?
Yeah, just touring. We call it the never-ending tour, the endless tour.
Yeah.
It's like we're booked up throughout the whole entire year, both coasts.
Yeah.
We got some of those big fairs and festivals coming up in the summertime.
That's fun,
man. Probably start writing again. It seems like I'm happiest when I'm working and thinking and creating.
Yeah.
So probably get out in front of the next record.
Yeah.
Just start coming up with
Something
songs.
new. Yeah.
And I'm really excited about the Hold My Beer stuff. Wade and I are touring it this year. Probably going to put the single out in the fall.
Man.
And new record out next year.
Yeah.
So next year will be like the full band, crazy Hold My Beer tour.
Really?
Hopefully.
That sounds really exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear that.
And drop that new record then.
Yeah.
Let Help Bent breathe for a little bit.
Sure.
Put another single out called I'll Never Get Over You.
Cool.
It's going to be the next single on that record.
Another Train, so good luck.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I've got a duet with Rodney Crowell that's coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that because he did a new album, right? That
Yeah.
is.
So I think sometime in
Texas
July,
stuff.
I think, is when they're going to... it's actually the lead single.
Yeah.
It's called Flatland Hillbillies.
Cool, man.
And got to sing with another one of my idols, Rodney Crowell, and we actually filmed a video together, and he made me dance around like in this video. It's like, I don't know, people are going to see it and be like,
What's going on here?
Yeah. But we had a great time, and he was so sweet. And he called me up, and on that record, it's crazy. It's like Ringo Starr, it's Billy Gibbons,
Wow.
it's Steve Earle, I think. I don't know. It's
Willie might be on there too.
Willie is on there.
Yeah.
So it's like all these duets. It's called Bigger in Texas, I think. Is the name
Cool,
of the
man.
album.
That's really cool. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
And just to circle back to the songwriting thing, so like with your process, do you find that you have to just sit down and do it, or are you constantly inspired? How does that work for you?
Well, I can't do it on the road. It's tough.
Yeah.
Just really no free time alone on the road. I usually go. I have a condo in Nashville.
Yeah.
I've had it for about 10 years, and it was Wade in mine for a while. Then it was me and my managers, and it was me and another buddy, and now it's Brent Cobb, me, and Adam Hood.
Nice. That's pretty fun roommates.
Yeah. We're never there at the same time.
Right, I know, yeah.
But I go up there and I get away from, not that it's a bad thing, my babies, my kiddos, my family life.
Yeah.
And I go to work.
Yeah.
And
Lock
a lot of great
yourself in a room.
songwriters live there, obviously.
Sure.
And so I try to hook up with who I can there and write. And I don't leave my room until I'm done. And sometimes we're out 2 in one day.
Yeah.
I made some really dear friends there that are great songwriters. And so, you know, try to gravitate towards those individuals. And, you know, it's crazy because Nashville gets such a bad rap because some of the music is so bad that comes out of there. But, man, the most talented people in the world are working there and living there. Agree. And so you kind of have to track them down.
Yeah.
You know.
No, there's a whole side. I mean, you go to the Station Inn and you're going to hear some awesome stuff. It's like there's a whole other side to it for sure.
I've always enjoyed Nashville, and I think that condo for me has been a very good tool. Because it's where I go to work. Yeah. You know, and it seems to be working still.
Well, you got to, because they're separate. They're all separate crafts. Like writing songs is completely different than even performing, you know, as a singer or then entertaining, you know, the whole thing. And so you do need that separate space. I think that's really important.
It is. Like it's, if you read about other writers and novel writers and, you know, writers in general, they seem to go to one spot. You know?
To do it,
And that's where everything, for some reason, comes out. And, I've written 5 records in that room.
In that room, that one room.
And on the same guitar.
Yeah, that's cool. What guitar is it?
It's a D35 Martin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Which Parker McCollum accidentally dropped last week.
No.
He was staying there. It's in the shop. It'd be fine.
Oh, that's funny. And does it stay in that room then?
Yeah.
It's just your writing guitar. Yeah, it stays there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. I like it. If it's working, don't change it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's cool. Well, I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate you sitting down with me. Hopefully we get to catch up again in the future, because I really enjoyed it, man.
Come see a show.
Cool. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah. If anybody has the opportunity to see you guys, I highly recommend it.
Right on.
Yeah,
Thank you, Shiner Beer.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers, Shiner.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. I did cut in a couple songs, some recorded audio. First song I popped in was an excerpt from Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen. And the song is called Standards. It's off their Hold My Beer Volume 1 album. And you can find that on all the digital platforms and probably find it in a store too. And the second song I popped in there was Hell Bent on a Heartache. Great song off of Randy Rogers' band new album, Hell Bent. Once again, you can search that on all the digital music platforms or go to your local record store and pick it up. Here are some links that you can visit if you want to find more information on Randy Rogers' band. Visit randyrogersband.com. That's Rogers without a D. Their social media is all at Randy Rogers Band as well. If you want to check out some of the artists that we talked about that Randy's been helping out, you can check out bigblindmanagement.com. And that's where you can find info on Parker McCollum and Chris Colston. As always, Cowboys and Indians, you can keep up with the latest episodes and also search for that really cool exclusive acoustic video of Never Made It to Mexico. And you can find that at cowboysindians.com. Social media handles are at CI_magazine for Twitter and at Cowboys Indians Magazine for Instagram. If you want to check my music out or learn more about me, you can visit Tyler, Tyller, music.com. And you just search Tyler Music or Tyler Gummersall on all the social media platforms, as well as all the streaming platforms. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's also a podcast version if you'd rather tune in while you're driving or something. And if you're listening on the podcast version, there is a video on YouTube of the interview. So go ahead and visit Cowboys and Indians YouTube channel and check that out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the opportunity to sit down and talk with these folks, and I couldn't do it without having some listeners like you out there. So until next time, happy trails.